Do you ever feel like a solitary creature living in a social world? We are building an online community that fosters virtual friendships. Hello, and welcome to Social Leopards. I'm Beth.
Hi, I'm Bea.
And we are here to collect and share stories and information in the hopes of finding positive and meaningful ways forward. It is our goal to navigate this jungle called life.
Who knows? Maybe a leopard can change its spots.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 4 of Social Leopards. Come get social with us, you solitary creatures. Woohoo! So today we are going to talk about our top how-to tips for people who do want to be more social. So I'm going to start with a couple of really general things to say here. And so first of all, I'm going to say get out of your own head. Sounds pretty strong beginning, right?
Yes.
I think sometimes we are our own barriers to moving forward in life. We like to think about all the things that may not happen instead of concentrating on the things that might happen if we do take that chance and do get out there and do things. So don't use I'm busy. Don't use I'm tired. Don't use any other excuse to stop you from trying, because I'll tell you what, I have had some horrible work days, but if I go out and I spend a little bit of time with my friends, I always feel better for it, even if I'm a little bit tired the next morning.
Same. We have to push ourselves for social opportunities. I think that's something that's like a vitamin.
It really is. That's a really great way to put it. A vitamin. So take your vitamins, people.
That's right. And we also talked about prioritizing yourself. That's so important. I think as women, maybe men too, but I feel like women, we do so many things for so many people that we forget about what we need. And we need the moment to talk to our friends, to just share things. And you'll be surprised. You would feel so much better when you would do it. As far as what do you want to do, like, what do you like to do? What do you like to do, Beth, besides us hanging out and talking?
Oh, gosh, I'm singing. Love to sing.
That's right, same. Yeah, but like when you're like, as far as hobbies, like besides that, singing because you can do by yourself or with someone, but
Yes, I think, family time and getting together. I love to play cards, and I'm a bunco fanatic. If you don't know what bunco is, it's bunco. Look it up. It's a little dice game played with a large group of people, super social. And then I think just hanging out with friends, my girlfriends.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to talk about different things. We get into so many fun topics.
Yep.
And it's just so nice to hear about people and the way they perceive, life. It's always so different from the way you perceive it. We always assume we have some similarities, but we have so many vastly different ideas. It makes things so interesting.
Yeah. And invite me to dinner. I rarely say no. That one's always a good one. So, I think knowing what kind of person you are is important, and it will shape the decisions you make. And so, if you're a deep thinker, then, go to the lecture hall at the local university and really focus in on that stuff. There's lots of opportunities, historical lectures, as well as, going to the comedy club and just guffawing, laughing it up, maybe with a cocktail in your hand. Who knows?
Yes, that's even better with the cocktail in your hand. No judgment, no judgment.
Absolutely. And, the last thing just to kind of think about is change your behavior, change your life.
That's right. That's very important.
Okay. So tip number 1 for how to be more social would be to join a club or a group. You've already heard us, I think almost every episode, we talk about this ladies group where Beth and Bea found one another and became besties. There are a lot of different social media outlets, and sometimes they're on Facebook sites, sometimes they're on meetup.com, sometimes I don't even know what other venues there are out there.
There's so many.
Yeah, if you guys know of any, let us know. We're always interested in sharing that, and I know that in certain areas of the country, certain sites are more popular than others.
And also, I mean, if you're afraid or concerned about what to do, which group to go to, you can always take a look and read the reviews and prepare yourself so that you're not going to be feeling anxious about going into a place where you don't know anyone.
Yeah. And if you are tending towards shy, or you don't want to get in a situation where you're going to be asked to disclose a lot of personal information, try a group that has a focus. I think one of the probably best pieces of advice would be to join a book club, because a book club, you're going to all read the same book. You're all going to come there at least for part of the time to really discuss the book itself and to get deep into that. And so you can kind of prepare.
And you
ahead of
don't
time.
have to talk. You can listen if you don't want to talk.
Yeah. I mean, even in my, in that social group that Bea and I are a part of, we notice there's some people that probably don't disclose very much information. They're mostly listeners for a variety of reasons, and that's cool too. Hopefully you'll hook up with a group that's very inclusive and welcoming, and you know what? If one group doesn't do it for you, the next one might. So,
And don't feel bad about leaving the group and not coming back. I don't think you need to worry about that. It's what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just have had a lot of great feedback from a lot of people that book clubs are usually pretty inclusive and welcoming, especially if you pick something like a science fiction book club where you're going to get an eclectic group of people. And those conversations can get deep and a little bit off the wall, but tend to shy away from the personal details of people's lives. So anyway, that's tip number 1. Bea, you want to do tip number 2?
Sure. If you have any casual friends, I think you can reach out and make the first move. You'd be surprised. I have a lot of people I play tennis with, and one or two of these ladies, and it took me a year to do this, actually. I should have done it sooner. Didn't know that we had so many things in common. Finally, I just said, hey, let's get together and go out to lunch. And now we become closer friends. So I think that's also something we can definitely capitalize on, especially if you're in like a regular routine, a book club or like tennis or any kind of sport where you see them regularly enough, then it's going to be less threatening after a few times to kind of reach out and try to, spend some time with them. And so, yeah. And also don't assume just because you assume someone's not interested until you make the first move. I think you have to assume that they are interested unless you have some other reasons why. And if they're not, it's not you. It's them.
I've also encountered people over the course of the past few years that it's almost an excuse. And it's, the other person never made the first move. Well, they could be thinking exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Right? So sometimes you have to be the instigator in order to get action. Now, I'm here to tell you, I tried that a few times and it was kind of a crash and burn where I really made some very strong invitations to people and they didn't really go very far, but it didn't stop me from trying. And eventually I did find my, perfect place. So sometimes you have to be the one to initiate for a while and then it will either happen or it won't, but at least you can't say you didn't try.
And as they say, it is a numbers game.
It kind of is, isn't it? It's kind of like dating, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, see if there's more bonds that start to form as you move forward, especially even work friends, Work friends tend to be a whole different breed of friendship. They usually don't go beyond the workplace. But for people who are feeling really like it's a challenge, a really difficult challenge to put yourself out there, sometimes just easing into that work friendship and being okay with that, it will alleviate some of that feeling of loneliness and it'll help you feel more confident to, take that step with a group of strangers.
That's a really great point. Even having lunch with a work friend, I think would make you feel a lot more. Yes, I think people should tap into that as well. I agree.
Yeah. So tip number 3, pursue a social hobby. So you can look at community college level courses or junior college. I don't know, they're called different things in different states, but things that are of interest to you. And hopefully it'll allow you to start up some small talk with your fellow students. And then there's also just kind of those, I don't know, there's those
Toastmasters too.
Oh,
you maybe
really?
think Toastmasters.
Oh, yeah, that could be a
That's
hobby.
a really nice one because they have a variety of ages in there. And I did that. I just didn't have time to do it because then COVID closed it down. But I was doing it. It was a really interesting group. So good. Sorry, I cut you off. But
No, that's fine. No, Toastmasters is a really good one. That's almost like a group in and of itself.
It
Maybe
is.
that's its category on its own.
Yeah.
Well, then that was 2.5 or 3.3A Toastmasters. Give it a try. Also, a sport. I swear, there's a Friday night dodgeball class in our town.
Really?
Yeah, it's not a class, it's just a group.
That's nice.
But, and it's adults. It's all over 21. And then I think they sometimes go out for a drink afterwards or whatever, an appetizer to, earn back some of those calories they
That's right.
lost playing dodgeball. I don't know. But, then there's softball leagues for adults. There's volleyball leagues for adults. There's all sorts of, bowling leagues still exist, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
All sorts of different sports-minded league opportunities. Pickleball, frisbee golf.
Yes. Also, just kind of funny, but kind of not. If you're a woman, a heterosexual woman looking for a man, Home Depot is a great place to hang out. And Ace Hardware.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I did do that when I was single. I admit it. I read some kind of dating book years ago before I got remarried, and that was the place that they said, hang out at all the hardware stores.
Well, I don't know if they do it post-COVID, but pre-COVID, Lowe's actually used to do these little sessions where they would teach you how to build a shelf or things like that.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check into that and see if that still exists out there in the universe. Not that I'm looking for a man, because I've got mine. Thank you very much. Last but not least, there are a lot of social places like pottery.
Yes.
Paintings where you can make your own pottery and then go and get it glazed and things like that.
Or painting with a twist.
Painting, yeah.
With wine. That's what that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of different versions of that out there in the U.S. especially, where you can go paint a picture with an instructor. And believe me, I have very little artistic know-how, but I got one of my paintings from one of those painting party places hanging on my wall, and I'm proud of it. So
exactly. And you enjoyed that and you made it, so why not?
Yeah. And you get to small talk with people, and then if you really dig it and you have the money to spend on that kind of thing, you'll find the regulars, and that could spawn a friendship. So pursuing social hobbies is a really good way to get started. Now, you can't count on it, but it at least gives you people with commonalities, and it can make you feel like you're interconnecting
and
socially.
Confident try the next thing.
Absolutely. I think I talked about this last episode, but one of my favorite tips is don't judge a book by its cover. So when you meet someone, there is probably a common interest in there somewhere if you give it the time and you give it the open-mindedness that it needs. And so everyone that you meet, consider them as a future friend. It can take a little time to start kind of vibing with some people. I'm not going to put Bea down, but had I judged her the first time that I met her, I probably would have put myself down more than I would have put Bea down and considered her to be like kind of in a different social class or a different social circle than me.
It was the outfit I was wearing, I'm pretty sure.
It kind of was. She came to this very casual thing dressed to the nines. I think you came from work or something.
I think
awesome.
I did, yeah.
But I was like, oh, wow, look at her. I was like looking at Miss America or something. I don't know.
Oh, you're so funny.
But we got to talking, and I was like, oh, she's like a lot more down to earth than her psychologist front show looked like at the moment. I don't know.
I think really, I think that's what it was. I was at some kind of a meeting, and it was a contentious one. Then I was very excited to go to the meetup, but I just didn't get a chance to go home and change, which I ordinarily would have. So I think, I was still in work mode. So
yeah. Although I do think you own very few things that aren't designer label.
I don't know. TJ Maxx is my favorite store. So
Oh, okay. See? Judgy. See where it gets you? So, anyway, Bea's warm personality won me over, and she's a great listener, and she's always there for me when I'm feeling a little low. So it lets me vent about my workday if I had a frustrating one. All of that stuff starts to build friendships over time. So don't judge that book by its cover, folks.
Oh, Beth is so amazing. I could say the same about her. We're very lucky to have each other. I'm so blessed to have her in my life.
Oh, thank you. The Mutual Admiration Society. Let's just talk about how awesome we are for the next 20 minutes. Let's not. Tip number 5. Okay, moving on to tip number 5. Consider yourself worthy of friendship. This is an important one, folks. Everyone is deserving of kindness and is capable of both befriending someone and becoming someone's friend. And not just on Facebook, people, in real life, in real time. It has been a while since you've had a close friend. If you're that person, believe me, it gets harder as we age, from everything I've heard when talking about this with other people, from experiencing it myself after moving to a new town. You do have to fake it till you make it a little bit, but you can't be someone's friend if you question your ability to be a good friend. So take a look inward, and if you have any negative self-talk that gives you reason to think, then let us know, and maybe we need to dig into that a little bit more. Ooh, future episode.
Yes, future episode. Negative self-talk. How to get rid of it.
Yeah, but we digress. So showing an interest and looking for body posture and what I like to call good face as you talk to someone. Making eye contact is important. Being a good listener back. You know, it's nice to be heard while you're talking, but make sure you're not the only one talking. Make sure that you let the other person get a word in edgewise. Find ways to show the other person that you agree with them when they share questions or feelings, and stay present and be focused when you talk with others. Don't talk to them, talk with them, right?
That's a good point. Yes.
Yeah. And then others around you have that same basic need to feel accepted. And they also want to feel heard and that their words are meaningful. And so people are drawn to people who make them feel a certain way, a certain good way. When I talk and someone cuts me off and then they make it all about them, or it's clear that they're no longer listening to me, or the subject gets changed to something completely different, there's nothing more annoying, and it makes you feel smaller somehow. And sometimes it takes a while to even realize that it's happening, but when it does, it really starts to devalue, you know, the whole concept or perception on both sides of the house, really. So setting that precedent that you aren't being judgmental and that you're also not feeling judged, those are the hallmarks of friendship, even early on in a relationship, I think.
No, I completely agree with you. Yeah. You have to kind of be equitable, listen and be listened to. And yes.
Yeah. And if you do struggle, moving on to tip number 6, and I've said this a lot so far, but fake it till you make it. And rehearsing social moments is a good strategy. You know, how would you respond to basic questions? If you feel awkward or anxious in social situations, or you're afraid to be asked a specific type of question, I have a friend who doesn't do a lot socially and feels like they'll be kind of like pointed at and pointed out as an outlier or meant to feel abnormal because they don't feel comfortable going out and doing things, and they don't have a lot of friends or really any friends to speak of. And so going out and so even a question as innocuous sounding as, hey, what were you up to last weekend? Or, hey, what are your summer plans?
Is threatening.
Yeah, and it's anxiety inducing.
So what do you mean by rehearsing social moments? Do you mean thinking about how are you going to answer certain questions, or? So
I'm going to pretend like I don't have any plans ever. And you ask me the question about what I'm doing.
Okay.
Like, oh, excuse you. Somebody's time for bed.
Sorry.
We'll edit that out later. Note to self, edit that out. So let's say you just asked me, so what are your summer plans? And truth be told, I have no summer plans, and I'm actually dreading the summer because maybe I'm a teacher and I'm off for the summer, but I have no plans, and I'm going to be really, really bored all summer long because I don't have anybody that I can invite to the house or go out and do things with or whatever it is. And being asked that question is almost like, I don't want to answer that. I don't want to say I don't have any plans because everybody else is talking about these fabulous vacations and all these things, and I don't want to travel alone, and so I'm not going to travel anywhere for any reason or whatever it is. come up with some other thing.
Okay.
Oh, I am a homebody and I love it and I'm going to read some good books or
I would like to go XYZ place in the future.
I would like to, or I'm thinking about.
Right.
I don't have any set plans yet. I'm still kind of like sorting that out, but I'm probably going to stick close to home this summer and work on my garden or, I have a cat that can't be left behind for days and days. And
because it has anxiety disorder. No, I'm just kidding.
But I mean, you can walk around the truth without being like a bold-faced liar, and you can make yourself comfortable in a social situation by anticipating those very common questions, about what you're up to or, what do you do when you're not at work? Like these little social gatherings that happen in a work setting. Everyone has something. I do some creative writing on the side. It's like just a fun little way for me to, kind of waste away the hours.
Mm-hmm.
Saying I'm a homebody isn't necessarily like something that's to be ashamed of.
I don't think so.
No. And, I take care of my pets. I do this. I
water
do
the
that.
plants. Do you water the plants? I don't. My husband does. I don't. I always forget to. It's really bad.
I know. I had to water a plant today that was a Mother's Day gift, honestly. And I was like, ooh, I got it just in time.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, those types of things you can rehearse and you can think about ahead of time in order to be prepared for them. And then that way you're not caught in that, oh no moment, I'm stuck and I have to come up with this answer and I'm going to be embarrassed by it type of thing, right?
Right. Those are great suggestions.
Yeah.
So do you have the question of the week?
Oh gosh, I have one more tip.
Oh, you have one more tip. Okay.
I have one more tip. You're rushing me.
Oh my God.
So this is a newer one that I came up. I don't even think you and I discussed this before the episode.
I cannot believe this.
Here we go. This is one of my favorite episodes. I've been looking so forward to this one. So I think as we get older, we start to kind of wonder about the people that, meant so much to us when we were younger. And, things like high school reunion, which when it was the 5-year reunion, we're like, I don't really care. I don't care if I ever see these people. But by the time you hit 15 or 20 years or more, it starts to be like, oh, yeah, I would like to go to that reunion. And so how do you reconnect with an old friend? I mean, many of us as we age, we move, we do this, we do that, we do the other thing, things fall off. Maybe we got married or got involved in some relationship that kind of shifted our priorities and the friends fall away. And we know that happens all the time, right? Or a work situation made it so that the things that you used to do on the regular are no longer happening on the regular because, your priority changed there too. There's lots of different opportunities that change the path that we're taking on a daily basis. And then that causes relationships to fall away. So there are lots of ways to reconnect really quickly. Social media, of course, is a really good way. I have found a lot of my people from my past on Facebook or other similar sites. Send them a direct message. Keep things private at first so that if they, don't ghost you right there in the public chat.
I doubt they would.
I don't know.
But I agree there's anxiety around that. I did reconnect with a friend a couple of years ago. I was going back to New York City. She still lives there. And I guess there was a little bit of anxiety, but I still had her number. So I texted her and told her, when I was coming out. And she was available and we saw each other and it was wonderful because we went to college together and, it was a great, great moment. So yes, you should definitely try to reach out and try.
Yeah, I just did that with one of my high school friends. I realized I knew she was near Nashville-ish. But anyway, I knew I was kind of like driving up after seeing my brother, like right through her neighborhood at lunchtime. And so I was like, any chance that you would be available for lunch? And we had a lovely little reconnection.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then now we haven't talked to each other except for once since. But, it ebbs and it flows.
It does.
But I do intend to keep that relationship a little closer now. So people are almost always happy to hear from an old friend. So if you think about them, maybe they thought about you on occasion too. So, it doesn't hurt to kind of think about that and realize that maybe it's mutual. If not, it's not. And no harm, no foul. If you're nervous, write some things down to talk about. If you do make a face-to-face or a voice-to-voice connection, think up an old shared memory or some questions to ask them about what's going on in life since the last time you connected. It's normal to feel a little awkward, a little nervous, a little whatever after a long time has passed, right? And don't be put off if the first time you call or meet up is awkward. It might take a little while and you might have to reestablish that friendship. And a lot has happened in your lives, like we talked about, since the last time you met. So, otherwise you're going to feel lonely if you continue the habits of being lonely, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you have to try to keep reaching out.
Yeah. So that is the best way we can bring connections back into our lives. So really, really good advice. I wish I remember where I found some of that on the internet that sparked that conversation. But so now ask.
What the question of the day is?
Sharing moment of the week is.
Oh, that's right. What's the same? Sharing moment of the week. I apologize.
I love it. Yes. So sharing moment of the week this week is, do you have any other ideas to share on how to connect or reconnect? We're hoping to expand our list in a future episode and would love to give you personal credit for your recommendations on how to feel less lonely and get your social leopard on, people. The two best ways to reach us are to either visit our website, that's socialleopards.com, and drop us a line there, or you can send us an email directly at share@socialleopards.com.
Yeah. Rawr. That wasn't a good one. I'll have to work on that.
There you go. Hey, everyone, have a wonderful week.
Yeah, see you next time.
Bye.
This podcast sometimes discusses the struggles of loneliness, isolation, and depression in a way that can be triggering. Our content is not intended to provide or replace professional counseling. If life starts to feel too hard to bear, please seek help. In the United States, dial 988 if you feel as if you may harm yourself or others. Help is a phone call away. If you can't afford or find therapy, dial 211 for no or low-cost resources that may be available near you.